Welcome to the Mama Truth Show, where soulful mamas embrace the whole truth of the messiness and magic of motherhood. Check us out at mamatruthshow.com. Here's your host, Amy Ahlers, the Wake Up Call Coach.
Hello, mamas, and happy Mama Truth Monday. It's Amy Ahlers here, the Wake Up Call Coach, and I'm really deeply excited for this call today, for this show today. I have an incredible guest here who's going to talk about her journey to becoming a mama. And it is not a traditional journey, and I know that it is going to inspire so many of you on the call today, on the line today, on the show today. So I want to let you know a little bit about the amazing Jen Todd. She's the founder and CEO of her own business called Breakthrough Partners. She's an experienced leadership coach and change consultant and a trusted confidant to executives. And she's known for creating these incredible life-altering events. She has coached hundreds of leaders. Now, here's the thing, and I know that this is going to resonate for a lot of you, that while she was creating all of this incredible change for people, she began to experience burnout. She began feeling exhausted and depleted. And I know that I can relate to that. It's so interesting as coaches and as transformational teachers and leaders that oftentimes we can be creating all of this amazing change and all of this happiness and all of these breakthroughs for our clients at the cost of our own personal happiness. So what I love and admire so much about Jen is she said no, she took a stand for it and took a sabbatical. And she had heard this whisper in her soul that said, go to Africa. And so she embarked on this incredible personal and spiritual journey and uncovered her life's purpose and realigned her entire life around that. So she has founded a women's empowerment mission in Africa, and she started a nonprofit called Value Girls Globally. And then that led her, I have chills all over my body as I'm saying this, that led her to adopting her own baby as a single woman. And you can learn more about Jen's coaching business, her Be the Changemaker program that she has in her business and her nonprofit work at her website, jentodd.com, which is JENTODD.com, one N, jentodd.com. And of course, in the show notes, you will see more about that. Jen, thank you so much for coming on to the Mama Truth Show to share your story. Welcome, darling.
Thank you. I'm so honored to be on this show. It's like, it's crazy. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, what I love about you, Jen, and just so deeply admire is how in tune you are with your inner wisdom, with your connection to source, to the divine, to God, and how you have really allowed that to lead you in the work that you're doing in the world, whether it's through the Be the Changemaker program that you have, that you're launching, in the process of launching right now, or your work in Africa, a nonprofit, and of course, your journey to becoming a mom. And I would love for you to share your story of becoming a mom, because I know that that's going to inspire so many of the mamas here on the show.
Okay.
You're like, okay, let's do this.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
There's a tiny little delay in seeing and hearing.
So, okay.
So I'm just going to talk, but you can pause me if you need to.
You're coming through great on my end, so okay. We're good. Yeah, go for it, lady.
All right,
okay.
Great. So yeah, I mean, I have been a single person my whole life. I mean, technically never been married. And I always felt like it was a deep calling to be a mother. And for so many years, I wondered, why isn't this happening? Why am I not getting married and having babies? Meanwhile, I was working my tail off.
Yeah.
Like that's what I was doing, was I was really investing in my career. And when I took that sabbatical and I went to Africa, I thought I was there I felt, and I heard the calling to go to Africa. God said, go to Africa. You're going to start a women's empowerment mission in the middle of Africa. So I went there with 2 weeks notice. in search for and in quest for this, purpose. And I did find these women, and it was amazing. And I actually launched an empowerment program. And it was about a year later when we were launching things, and I was there. I was actually in Kenya, and things were not going as planned. Hello. And I was having a moment, and I was having this moment, and I went behind this school. We're in an indigenous area where there's hardly even any buildings, but I found a place where I could sit and cry. And I said, God, you sent me here. What did you send me here for? What is my purpose for being here? Because clearly I can't get this program off the ground. And as I say this, I look over, and there's this little girl who comes walking out of nowhere, literally looked like out of nowhere. She comes and sits on my lap. She starts playing with my earrings and my hair and gazing at me as if she's known me for years. And as I'm holding her in my arms, I was actually at an orphanage. And as I was holding her in my arms, I just got this feeling over me of I'm meant to be a mother. Really, I'm meant to be a mother. And as the story played out, this little girl followed me around for the entire week I was there. Actually, the programs did finally launch. And she was on my arm the whole time. And it was this constant reminder of God wants me to be a mother. And I thought, well, I can't be a mom because I'm not married. And I had all these, certain ways of thinking in my head. But
right.
As I looked outside and I talked to these women in Africa, in Kenya, and they're all over the world, they have 8 kids, they have no money, they have no food, they walk for 5 or 6 hours a day just to get clean water to drink for their children.
Wow.
And they're surviving, and they are mothers.
Yes.
And here I am thinking, I can't do this because I don't have a husband, it might be hard. So they were my inspiration. They were my inspiration to, when I got back, I really got clear that I was meant to adopt. And I really grieved. I had to let go of the fantasy and the dream of how I thought it was going to be to really tune into the way in which I was called to be a mother.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Well, I love that. And I just want to encourage everyone listening right now around that. Where is your idea, your story of how it's supposed to be? Where is that getting in the way of you receiving the way that it could be, of you allowing that story to unfold for yourself, whether it's about having another child, or it's about attracting the perfect partner for yourself, or it's about your business or your finances or your health or whatever. It's the minute that we let go, and I love that you say that then you grieved and you allowed yourself that space to say, oh, maybe this isn't going to be the story that I thought it was going to be, where I fall in love and get married and then have children. And that is getting in the way of you receiving the child that is waiting for you. Mm-hmm. And so I love that you were able to let go of that story of supposed to and grieve it and then see what could actually come in. So beautiful. Love it.
Well, and I actually remember the moment. It was so funny because someone else who was a single mom said to me, you have to grieve it. I'm like, well, what does that mean? I was watching one of those silly, romantic comedies, and the woman and the man were in the room, the hospital room. They had this beautiful baby, and of course they were happy as clams and looked beautiful. And I watched this. I don't even watch movies that much. I cried, I'm not kidding, probably for 2 days about realizing that would never be me. I would never have that moment. But once I was really okay, am I willing to let go of that? And that's when everything opened up. I said, I'm willing to let go. So what do I do now? What do I do now? And that's really when I tuned in even deeper and said, I'm willing to, not only am I willing to give that dream up, but I will surrender. This is what I started really praying for and meditating on. Mm-hmm. Where I knew it was a girl, I was told it was a girl, whatever means I need to take to find that girl that is meant to be my daughter. I will do, even if it's hard. So, all right, God, tell me what it is.
Yeah.
That's what I started praying. Just tell me what to do. And I sensed it was adoption. And then I started researching. There's like all these different ways to adopt. And then I'm getting overwhelmed with like, okay, am I adopting internationally and domestically? And then there's fostering. And, so I started doing my like, overwhelming research and talking to people. And then I had to keep coming back to, well, do I know what the best way is? Like, I can use my head and try to figure it out. So I came back to, okay, so tell me the way.
Yeah.
And I was surprised and not even that pleased to learn that the way in which I am called to be a mother was to foster first.
Wow.
And then
Wow.
that was not my plan.
I know, right?
Fostering, I'm like, whoa, but what do you mean foster? What if she ends up not being mine? And all the stories that, you may have heard.
The heartbreak. Yeah.
The heartbreak.
Yeah.
The pain. And so when I was clear that it was to foster, it was the next part of like, okay, so how do I prepare myself for that? So the process in itself can trigger so many things.
Yes.
It's a difficult adoption and fostering. They are challenging processes for so many reasons. And so once I was clear that I went through a 6-month process of getting officially approved to
right.
be, to be a foster and adoptive parent. So then there's like the rules of the system. They kept telling me, you probably won't get a newborn because it's highly unlikely to get newborns, especially since I wanted to adopt. And so are you willing to sign up to take a child up to 8 years old? Like, oh, all right. So now we have to reconfigure this in my whole brain, heart, and mind. All right, I'm willing to, but they said, but in the rare case we do have a newborn, you have to be qualified for that. So the qualifications, I got my house ready, I got the crib ready, but I was preparing myself for probably a toddler. And so I got qualified, and I didn't know how long it was going to be. I didn't know if it was going to be 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years. So they started calling me immediately with there are so many children out here that need foster parents. And it was just overwhelming. Who do I say yes to? And I don't know.
Right.
So there was about a 2-week period where all these things would happen. Like they would call me and I'd miss the call by 5 minutes. So I'd miss the baby.
Right.
Okay.
Wow.
Yes, that's not my baby. So 2 weeks after I got qualified, and meanwhile, I'm working. I have a full-time business and a full-time mission. I don't know what's going to happen. So there's only so much you can prepare. So on a Monday morning, I got a phone call, and every time they call,
of
brace
course.
myself.
Oh my gosh, it's like, what's happening? Yeah.
Yeah. So the call was, we have a newborn baby for you. She's a girl. She's an African-American girl. And you have to pick her up tonight downtown. Yeah, about 7:00 tonight. And I'm like, what?
Oh my gosh.
Okay. The shock and terror, there's really no way to describe it because what do you mean? I have 4 calls with executives today.
Right.
I have this and I have that. My schedule is packed to the gills, and now I'm going to go pick up a newborn baby. Right. I don't even know how to change a diaper.
Oh my gosh.
I literally YouTubed how to change a diaper.
Oh my gosh, Jen. Wow.
So I didn't know what to do. And that day will stick in my memory for the rest of my life because I remember calling people and wanting someone to tell me what to do. I mean, no one can tell you what to do. I mean, this is going back to what I know to be true. And so how I knew and discovered that this child was really the child that was chosen for me, that was meant to be mine, was I had a very good friend who was just very like spiritually grounded, and she was in this with me, like this vision. She was like this, and she said, all right, come, I'm taking you out to dinner. Like, she really talked some sense in me. Like, when you're in that level of fear, you can't
Right.
think, you can't feel, you can't tune into your inner wisdom. It was like, she just grounded me, and this is what you said you wanted a newborn. This is what like has been delivered to you right now. Like this, I know you're scared, but this is it. And so I was like, okay, all right. I said, but I need a sign. So as I'm talking to her, this huge giant like thunderstorm comes up, like the kind of storm we literally like didn't even finish our dinner. We said, well, let's get in the car and go home. Like, it was crazy, things flying all around. I get in the car, and it was only 5 minutes away from my house, but I'm driving home, and I'm doing one of those, okay, God, if this is for real, I need a sign. It's always good when you threaten. But
exactly.
So I'm like, this is not the sign I'm looking for. Like, I can't even see straight. I'm dying. I mean, it was like so dramatic. I'm having this dramatic moment of just sheer panic. I need to feel it. I mean, I'm just praying. I'm just like, give me something where I know that she is meant to be mine. This is the path that was laid out for me.
Yeah.
And I walk in my house, tears in my eyes, and I live on a lake. So right when you walk in, you just see windows, and it stopped raining. Like, well, okay. And I saw a rainbow. And this is not just like, I saw a rainbow.
Right.
I have a picture of the rainbow. It's in my adoption video. A rainbow appeared, and it was like, my entire body, just peace ran through me. It was like, oh, I got it.
Yeah.
She is meant to be mine. And I went the way that I really talked to that part of me, the inner wisdom, is like, I have to write it down. So I immediately went and I got my journal, because if I don't write it down, then I'll make up a story later that I didn't.
Yep.
So I went and I got my journal, and I asked the question, is this my daughter? And I have still written down, your daughter is lying in a bed waiting for you. Go get her.
Yeah.
It's her. She's it. And so that is the moment I decided I'm a mother.
Yeah. Of course, I'm crying already over here. I mean, it's so beautiful on so many levels. I love this story so much because, again, it's like releasing the way we think things are supposed to be, and then receiving the gifts that are just awaiting us. And I feel like, I know there's moms here that are listening right now that have adoption stories or surrogate stories, or whatever the stories is that are a little, not that traditional way that a lot of women have children, or have that story of going through so many different treatments, fertility treatments, in order to become a mom. And I just honor you, Jen, and all of us that, that we become the mom the way that we're supposed to become a mom. And I'm so grateful that you said yes. And I'm so grateful that Kenya gets to have you as our mama. So lucky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I feel so blessed. I feel like the process then after that, like, so many, like any way that whether you're pregnant, I know there's anyway, there's so many risks and so many issues, but the road less traveled of doing the foster to adoption process is so, crazy. Like, you just can't predict what's going to happen. And, I ended up getting her 4 days later because all kinds of things were happening with her in the hospital. And, when I finally brought her home, they still reminded me, like, just, she's a foster, and the foster, the goal of the foster process is reunification with the parents.
Right.
So here I am holding both realities and trying to honor both things, honor the birth mother and the birth family.
Yes.
And their like their whole process and their pain and their loss of, like, that I have their child right now and their goal of wanting to reunite. At the same time, I know the truth that lives in me, that she's meant to be my daughter. I had to hold both and go to the courts and do visits with the mom and go through this process that was not nobody was saying that what I heard was what's going to happen. Everybody was saying, and things were happening that were so the opposite.
Yes.
That people thought that I was a little crazy.
Right.
When you're really following that call, you look like you're off your rocker. I was living off my rocker.
Yeah.
And at the same time, Kenya was colicky. So she was up all night long. And I was working in the day. By the way, not recommended. I don't recommend this to anybody. But because I didn't have time to prepare to take off, I took some time, but there was no maternity leave. So I'm still trying to keep some things going, working in the day with my eyes open with
right. 75 cups
in your eyes. Toothpicks. I want to put toothpicks in my eyes. She's up all night long, and people every time the phone rings from the adoption agency, my heart stops because, they could say she's going to someone in her family or to, back to her mother, because that process happens separately from you. So the lack of, the thing I would relate it to is the lack of control that we have over so many things.
Wow.
In this case, though, it was on steroids. You have no control. The only thing I had control over was, how was I going to mother this child, loving her, figuring out how the heck to be a mother and to work and survive. It was survival. And the only way I could survive was making a choice to listen to the voice, my inner wisdom from God.
Yeah.
Or I was going to listen to the fear.
Yes.
And the fear was so loud and coming up all over the place that I just said, I will not listen. I will only listen to this. I will only. And when I was having those moments, I would, drive to a mother visit, and I am actually in a disguise because there was some safety issues about it. So here I am in disguise in the middle of the day, taking off work, driving to let this little beautiful little baby who I'd fallen in love with go to a family visit, which she needed to do. It was what needed to happen. But my fears were so great. And I just remember I would drive in the car and I would say, okay, speak to me the truth. Tell me the truth. And I remember hearing one time I was just just a mess and a hot mess. And I just heard, it's already done.
Yeah.
It's the destinies have already been laid out.
Yeah.
Stay your path.
Yeah.
Listen to me only.
Yes.
Keep going.
Yeah.
You already know the truth.
Yeah. Well, and so it feels and I love that you are speaking about the truth around the foster to adopt system too, because we could have ended the story with the rainbow and then she came to you and that's it. And it's nope, that's not how it goes in the foster to adopt world at all. And I have a lot of women in my community and in my world that have the story of then the baby being taken back and then continued and persevered and have now families with multiple children that they did through the foster to adopt system. And, there's horror stories and painful stories and sorrow-filled stories. And then there's these beautiful stories where people end up becoming the mom that they were born to be. And so I'm grateful that you're talking about that part of it too. And I'm wondering, do you have any specific tips or tools that you can give the women that are listening that have really helped you to drown out the noise of the fear and really tune in to your inner wisdom, to the voice of God, the divine, whatever terminology works for everyone listening. But do you have any specific tools that you can gift us before we wrap up the show here?
Yes, I do. The one that I would say the tool or the process that has really served me the most
Yeah.
is really you have to get yourself into a space where you can really tune in.
Yes.
And like hear it, right? So
Yeah.
people can do it in lots of different ways. They can meditate, they can pray, they can, but the thing that's most important, whatever way that you do that, right? And it may be mantras and affirmations. I know you have tons of tools people can use, but for me, it's actually writing down a dialogue, like
Yes.
taking out a notebook, a journal,
Yeah.
writing out a dialogue with that part of me that hears directly from
Yeah.
it's God, and
Yeah.
that kind of wisdom. So we can talk to different parts. So if I am like succumbed by fear, I will go dialogue with that.
Yes.
With fear. Now that isn't usually the most uplifting thing, but sometimes I got to get some information from this.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely.
But when I want to really know what am I called to be doing right now, I go right to, and I have a conversation. It literally looks like, it says ME for me. I ask a question. I speak. I'm super scared about blah, blah, blah. I don't know what to do. Tell me what to do. Then there's a space. The next line has G. For me, it's God. It might be
Capital G.
whoever it is. But it's like, then I say, all right, God. And then I free flow write whatever I'm sensing or hearing, no matter how crazy it is, it gets written down.
Yep.
I do not look at it or read it until I am done with my little dialogue. It'd be like just me coming to talk to you. I just write it all down. I said this, you said that. I record it. And then at the end, I might read it, or it might even be the next morning.
Yep.
And I read it. This is the wisdom. I might read it for 10 days straight. In fact, the other day I was reading from 4 years ago. I was reading about when I was thinking about adoption, which was 4 years ago. So it's like, it's that. So that would be my tool, is really have a conversation with that inner wisdom, that part of you, and write it down.
I love that. And I know you're coming to Hawaii on the Mama Truth Hawaii retreat, and you did this exact process. Because I remember we had a conversation about it, and you're like, okay, I'm going to go, I'm going to talk to God, I'm going to journal about this, I'll let you know. And I was like, oh my gosh, I love it. I love that you have this very specific process that works so beautifully for you.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. And yeah.
And, I give it to my clients to help them find their purpose too. A lot of, that's what I love to do, is like, these things that are vague, or like that fears could get in the way. So it's like asking those questions, but like really capturing the essence of it from the wisdom. Because if you don't, your mind will play tricks on you. Like I told you with the Hawaii thing, I heard very clearly go to Hawaii. And then of course I got up the next day and realized, it's going to be, this many babysitters and this amount of time and all this stuff for this retreat. And like, all my logic would have kicked that out, but then I had it all written down on this piece of paper. Go back to it.
I love it. And
it's true.
I love it. And I really want to encourage and inspire all of you mamas that are listening to try this and see how it resonates for you. Take something, a challenge that's going on in your life, an area where you are being hard on yourself, something that's coming up for your relationship, a decision that you're trying to make, and try doing the journaling process, and let us know in the Mama Truth Circle Facebook group how it goes for you. Would love to witness that. So Jen, as we start wrapping up here, I know that you have a couple of free gifts for people that are listening that want to learn more about you and your work in the world, and maybe are considering the foster system, the adoption process. Do you want to talk about that for a moment?
Yes. So I would love to offer a couple of things. One is, as I mentioned, the, being able to tune in and get centered and listen to that wisdom. So on my website, jentodd.com, there is a free meditation. It's a guided meditation, so you can start to tune into that. Secondly, what I would love to offer, and this just came through this morning when I asked, what is the gift? What I would love to offer anybody who feels that little bit of a whisper around, foster and adoption, like I would love to offer you a free coaching session
Wow.
to just help you listen in, to hear that voice of what are you truly called to, and also to, perhaps bust through some of the fears that are in the way of you really acting on what you're called to. So you can, on gentodd.com, you will actually see on that front page, there's a little button to press if you would like to have a free coaching session. And that is my gift, because I really want to support, other people finding their unique divine way to be a mother.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you so much, Jen. What a generous, incredible gift. So any of you that are considering the foster system, the adoption process, take Jen up on her offer. That is huge. And so as we wrap up, Jen, one of the questions I always ask my guests is, what's messy and what's magical about motherhood for you these days?
Oh, well, what is messy? We'll start with that. So my daughter Kenya is now 3. Mm-hmm. So pretty much the whole house is messy. But I would say that we just made some big transitions. She's just transitioned to the big bed. She's transitioned to the potty. And honestly, the biggest challenge for me has been sleeping. Because we've just this going from the crib to the bed, and it whacks me out. The place I get triggered the most is just when I don't get sleep or she doesn't get sleep. So so it's messy right now. So we do some different things, and sleeping in a little later and adjusting the schedule as we're making this transition. So that's what's messy. And what is magical? Oh, what's magical? Well, I just had the 3-year anniversary of basically getting her. This month has been the anniversary of when I got her, as well as her adoption anniversary. And just watching the videos and reading the cards, and just the support that we had, and just the joy this child has brought, and just the reminder of the blessing. Yes, it's been a hard journey in a lot of ways, but the joy and the blessing this child has brought to my life. I cried the whole day. Kenny kept saying, "Mama, are you going to keep crying?" Because the song would come on. Or I'd say, look at this card we got, or this picture. And just overwhelmed with just gratitude and thanks for how much this child has given me, what she has taught me, and how she's changed my life. It's been miraculous. More than magical, it's been miraculous. So
beautiful.
Grateful.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jen. Thank you so much for sharing your story. I know how many mamas are going to be so inspired by the story. And so I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And everyone will visit gentodd.com. You can download her free meditation. And if you're considering the adoption and foster system, take her up on that complimentary coaching session, which is huge. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me on. It was just
so great.
A joy to be able to talk about this. Thank you.
Oh, my honor, my joy. So with that, mamas, keep embracing the messiness and the magic of motherhood. Until next Monday, it's Amy signing off. Bye-bye,
mamas.
Bye. Thanks for listening, mamas. Did you know that Amy has a new ebook out? It's called Sacred Self-Care for Moms, 7 Steps to Nurturing Yourself so you can be the mom you were born to be. And you can receive your free copy by going to sacredselfcarebook.com. That's sacredselfcarebook.com. And please don't keep the Mama Truth Show a secret. The biggest compliment you can give is to share the Mama Truth Show with your loved ones and write a review on iTunes. Until next time, keep embracing the messiness and the magic of motherhood.